afternoon, everyone. My name's Jazzalene, and I'm here with Salvaje to bring you this week's Wild Report, a weekly show where we recap all of the hottest Heroes of the Storm news, tea, and everything in between. How are you doing today, Sal?
Hi, Jazzy. I am doing fantastic. We had a very interesting weekend of Heroes Hearth CCL with some super highs and some super lows, depending on the team that you're rooting for. So let's get into it.
Spoilers ahead. On Saturday, CCL kicked things off with 30K versus Simplicity. 30K continued their win streak with a clean 3-0 into Simplicity. In truth, I think that is what most viewers were expecting to see this weekend. Hopefully we see some progress from Simplicity and they find their groove. They're showing up, they're putting the work in, there's still some potential for them to scale. The second match of the day was WildHeart Esports versus Oxygen Esports. This was a series that everyone was looking forward to this weekend. Both teams coming off of a 3-0 in week one and feeling good. We had a lot of doubters in WildHeart heading into the weekend. I saw some of those predictions out there, but WildHeart proved them wrong again, defeating Oxygen Esports 3-1. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the series. But he's going to finish it off. Those last few shots are going to go into the court. He's going in on Zergling. He doesn't have too much backup here. Oh, Zerg! He just turned it onto him! Nice job there on the Hogger.
Yeah, I'm looking.
That's me.
Oh!
Haven's not with, Haven's not with.
I have spell armor. It's fine.
Big stun, big stun, big stun, big stun.
Nice.
I'm gonna die for sure.
I'm gonna no control this.
I'm owning now. Help weary.
I'm out, I'm fine.
Okay.
Play shot. Look at Blaze, look at Blaze.
With the res.
Kill him.
With it.
Did we finish kills?
Yeah.
Back up. Oh. I think that's it. Haven, back up.
That's it. Careful, Haven.
Okay, go.
We can play. Okay. We try. Okay.
Yeah.
We can just boss end.
I really loved seeing Mason Blaze move on Greymane. I agree 100%. I think Ivy thinks and Mason Blaze looked like a really deadly duo. The way that they punish Yasuo's Uther was particularly inspiring. This goes for the whole team. The kind of hero that you don't want to kill because he can give free heals to ally. That's level 1 thinking. Level 2 is just do it anyway. And they did. Great counterplay against Uther. They did not let him play the game.
To continue, Sunday, we had our first 5-game series of the season between Diamond Hands and Storm Esports. And these two teams came to play. Everything you can think of came out in the series. We had epic team fights, a backdoor win, and a hammer comp. In the end, Diamond Hands ends up taking the win against Storm Esports. However, we can't help but notice a sudden shift in the confidence of Storm Esports. Here's some tweets made by the Storm tank player, Lauber. Prior to the match, he said this: sending Caesar Salad back to the cold product aisle in this weekend's Heroes Hearth CCL match with how many deaths I'll make him have. And then we have this tweet right after the CCL matches. Get me out. No shade, no tea to Storm. You guys came out to play, and we highly recommend everyone checks out the VOD on twitch.tv/Jazzalene for the WildHeart cast by Goon and Jazzy. After Diamond Hands and Storm Esports, we had Chili Mountain face off against Granite Gaming, winning in a 3-0 forfeit. You heard that right. Granite Gaming is the first forfeit of the season, and this doesn't bode well for their initial power rankings at the beginning of Season 4. Granted, if you want to be number 1, you're going to have to show up to play. After the forfeit announcement, the HotS community was not happy. There were many viewers and CCL participants who took to Twitter in a storm of memes and frustration. Here are a few that summarize the general response of the community. Starting with Legacy, there's a lot of people out there that have been working hard these past few years and would love to have a shot at playing in Heroes Hearth CCL, no matter what time it is. If you don't care enough, then let them play.
And then we had Zergling dropping the classic SpongeBob meme. I'm on Granite Gaming. What's a Granite Gaming? It means he gets to sleep. He gets too sleepy to play. No, it doesn't. It's past your bedtime, baby. Stop it, Heroes community. You're scaring him.
Next, we have a CCL viewer stating, it seems silly to even join the league if you know there's a possibility that you'll have to forfeit because you work early. I'm sure none of them are happy about having to forfeit, but kind of feel like they should have thought about that.
Another take coming out here. Could have also been solved by not making fun of the league by signing teams that only farm pizza money for the past few seasons.
Ooh, they're coming out swinging.
Last, you had Chili Mountain taking the win in stride, saying, winning is just so effortless against Granite Gaming. The Sailor Moon meme here. My job is done. You didn't do anything.
I mean, the memes and outrage is absolutely expected. The Heroes of the Storm community has only one big esports name and league to support, and we don't want to see the opportunity to play in it completely wasted. Let's move on to further details on the Granite Gaming forfeit with Jazzy. Go ahead and take it away.
So the speculation around the Granite forfeit at the time of this recording is that it was too late for the players. There's been no comment from Granite or CCL at the moment to confirm or deny that. Granite is claiming on Twitter that they tried to reschedule the match with CCL on Thursday, but it was denied. The thing is, a match being too late is not a reason for a reschedule. Not to mention, with barely 2 days notice to do it. Granite, you signed a contract to play in CCL. You should be drafting players that will actually do that. There's a lot of players working their butts off to get into CCL. If this is indeed your reason for not playing, it's just straight up disrespect. Disrespect for the league, to the aspiring players, and to your opponents, Chili Mountain. If you knew on Thursday you couldn't play, why make Chili Mountain players set aside time in their day to play you, just to forfeit right before your match was up? You were even tweeting in the morning that you will be playing Chili Mountain after an ongoing game. Come support us. So it looks to me that you knew ahead of time, realized your reasoning doesn't qualify for a match time change, maybe decided to play it anyway, but then your players were just tired and you forfeited. That's just my opinion though. You know what isn't? The CCL Player Handbook. And according to Section 15E2, titled Voluntary Match Forfeits, players may not voluntarily forfeit a match without prior authorization from tournament administrators, and even with authorizations are subject to further penalties for forfeiting. It'll be interesting to see what precedent CCL sets, and if this is indeed a case of essentially just not wanting to play. Also, Granite is tweeting saying they could have been that this could have been fixed and solved better. You're right. It could have been fixed by you. The CCL Player Handbook also mentions that changes can be made. One of those options being that if you had given 2 weeks notice, a HeroesCCL admin could have attempted to schedule this match to be played at a different time or day within the competition week. The match would be pre-recorded and aired during the regular scheduled match time. Look, right now we don't know all the details on why they couldn't play. It's just speculation. But by the time you're watching this, I hope there's some clarification on what occurred, because a lot of viewers are upset, players and orgs as well. And a lot of excuses are being made. Whatever happened to accountability and transparency?
Very well spoken, Jazzy. I mean, we're not overreacting here. This is a big deal. And depending on how HeroesHearth CCL responds to this will set the precedent for future organizations and players that you're signing up to a competitive league. And the rules are to be taken seriously. Up next, we have the Meet the Team segment. And for this week, we have the WildHeart healer, Weary Day, joining us. Let's check it out.
Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Meet the Team segment. And our big special guest this week is going to be Weary Day, a healer from WildHeart CCL team. Speaking of our CCL team, WildHeart just came off of a 3-1 win into Oxygen. Weary, how confident were you going into this series? How are you guys feeling now that it's wrapped up?
I can't really speak for everybody else, but I would say I was, quietly confident going in. I think the expectations and we don't really have much pressure going in, but our scrims have been going well. We prepped draft pretty confidently, and we were also able to adjust on the fly. So, pretty happy with the results this week.
So let's kind of go back to your roots in Heroes of the Storm. Where did your HotS journey begin? What got you into this game?
Yeah, so I think my college roommates at the time actually got me into this game. Before we were just playing Hearthstone a little bit, and then they both started playing HotS and kind of got me into it. I don't have any other prior MOBA experiences. It was just this, and somehow I just kept playing it even when they stopped playing. And then afterwards, watched some HGC, fell in love more with the game, and then eventually I started playing a bit of competitive with some friends in Heroes Lounge in Season 2, and then several NGS divisions, and then eventually into CCL.
Okay. So what made you want to play in CCL?
It just, I just had I just wanted to compete. I think the level of competition definitely increased, right? From before that, there was Div S in Heroes Lounge, there was Storm Div, and then there was this new thing, CCL, which is you got all these legends from back in the day coming back, and all of the new blood, right? It's competing for these spots. I thought it was great, and I wanted to be a part of it.
What was it like? You know, you said you like to watch HGC back in the day. There is some ex-HGC players in CCL. What's it like, kind of like, you know, being up there with them now? Is that a kind of a surreal experience for you?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the first thing that I felt was when I got onto the team on season 1 was how like just how chill Buds and Justin were, and you know, it was really like a great team environment.
This kind of brings me to our next question here is, you've been on the WildHeart roster since season 1 of CCL. What's it been like to play with all these different iterations of the WildHeart team?
It's been different every single season. It's been a very roller coaster experience, I would say. So season 1, I was the sub for the regular season, right? I was also playing an NGS as a sub for Mason's team in Stormdiv at the time. So that actually helped me like get some practice in as well on the side, just subbing for them in scrims and in match, I think, and just it kept me ready. So once I was like, they said, oh, I was gonna play in the semifinals in the playoffs, there was a bit of nerves going in, but mechanically I was ready to go, you know.
That must have been a lot of pressure as your first time playing in semifinals, finals there, into all these old HGC pros that you looked up to. How did you deal with that kind of pressure on yourself?
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit rough to start. I was a little bit shaky the first game. I think we actually lost that one, but we came back to win the set, and then we went into the finals going against Simplicity. But once we got the nerves out of or at least me, once I got the nerves out of the way, it was fine.
Were you friends with or know any of these players very well, like season 1, but also all the following seasons too? Did you have any kind of relationship pre-existing with any of your player or teammates, I should say?
Yeah, so season 1, I think as far as the draft went, it really came down to, I think, me or Valimar for the last spot, and I was playing with Unaverted prior in NGS, so I think that might have swung a little bit. He also did play with Valimar before, but it was really like a close decision, I think, and so that was one thing. I really didn't know any of the other guys, but in like, you know, season 2, season 3, it was just a lot of the heavy impact folks that I played MGS with, right? So
yeah.
I felt like they were definitely like underrated players. You know, they don't have the HEC experience, but they had their own understanding of the game. They were mechanically insane. So we threw them in some scrims, some tryouts, and they did well. So, and there was.
Let's talk a little bit about your own personal life. You and I kind of have something in common. We're both Canadians that have relocated our entire lives for job opportunities in the US. What was it like moving to a new country, and did you learn anything about yourself in the process?
You know, I haven't really thought about this for a while, but looking back, I think, so the first time I was in this situation was, I think, in my sophomore year. That was when I got my first internship here. That was definitely a bit of a shock and very challenging initially. Had to deal with some personal stuff and just adjust to this being in this situation, right? Like away from family, away from friends for the first time. These days, I think it's a lot more, I'm very much used to it and well adjusted in a good spot. I still don't get to see like family and friends as much as I'd like, but other than that, it's been really good.
Yeah, I know for me personally, especially with the pandemic, being so far away from family, and I'm very close to my own family, it's challenging. It's rough to try and, like, you know, you miss seeing them, and it's difficult to visit them right now. How have you been dealing with that? Do you compensate with video calls, or are you just cool being that far away?
Yeah, I call my parents. No videos most of the time, but we do call like here and there, and once we do call, like, we usually just chat about a lot of random stuff in like a few hours at a time sometimes.
Oh, that's really nice. I like that you keep a good relationship with your parents. Now, obviously, you've moved down into the US for job opportunities, so you do have a full-time job. What's it like balancing that around playing in CCL? Has there been any challenges for you?
Yeah, so I think at the beginning it was, especially going to like the pandemic, right? I think it was both good and bad in that, like, I was working from home full time, so I could definitely like fit into the scrim schedule a lot easier and like can sub when teams needed most of the time if I didn't have like any urgent work or anything I needed to look at urgently. So these days I'm going back to the office a little bit more, but luckily I think with the scheduling we're looking at right now, it's been pretty easy to fit into my schedule still. So I think it's been okay.
Yeah, we're lucky that we have some NA teams that can schedule scrims that work around West Coast times this season, and teams that are actually going to help us develop as well. So we're very fortunate in that sense for this season. We have a fan question coming in that they were looking to ask here, and they wanted to know what your favorite sandwich is.
A big sandwich person, so I guess I would say sometimes I get like cravings for a meatball sandwich.
Okay.
Something I've had a lot in college. I probably would hate it after I have it again, but sometimes I get random cravings.
Okay. And we're going to end it off here with if you could give one piece of life advice, what would it be?
I know you said one, but I'll split into like two parts, which
Okay.
is one, work hard, and two, just like stay in the moment.
Well, thank you so much to Weird A for joining us for this week's Meet the Team segment. We'll see you again next week with a new guest.
Work hard and stay in the moment. Okay, take that into your SL games and let me know how it works out for ya. Thank you so much, Weary Day, for taking the time to speak with Jazzy on the Wild Report. For this week's events over in the WildHeart Discord, we have episode 6 of the Paramount Plus Halo series showing tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And this Friday, we will be having a movie night of your choosing at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you would like to vote for your favorite movie, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Salvaje Gaming to cast your vote. Additionally, make sure to RSVP to the WildHeart pre-game party happening in the Fair on 4 at Mall of America, August 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and 6 p.m. local time. You can RSVP right through our website at www.wildheartesports.com, which will be linked in the description below.
And of course, at WildHeart's upcoming CCL match this Sunday against 30K. This should be a crazy series. Both of these teams have yet to drop a series in CCL, but not only that, I'm fortunate enough to see these two teams scrim all of the time, and it's looking close. I think it's a lot closer than people may expect. No surprises from me if it goes to a Game 5. You can watch the official broadcast on both Wisdom Gaming channel or Grubby's channel, or if you're interested, you can catch Goon and I casting all of the matches both Saturday and Sunday over at twitch.tv/Jazzalene. Matches start at 2 p.m. ET, 11 a.m. Pacific. Thank you all for joining us for this week's Wild Report. We will see you next week.
Bye-bye.